Instant Replay is your local sports bar. With 18 big screen TVs, we have all the sports packages from college games to pro games. We offer daily drink specials, and come check out the Bullpen, our newly renovated beer garden. Instant Replay, 2739 Chestnut in Quincy.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Muddy. I'm Brittany Bull, and today my guests are Avery Hoffman and Skylar Mussolino. They are here with the MDW crew, and I am excited to talk about this one. It's something near and dear to my heart, and I know yours. And I just got to meet you, Avery, but I've heard a lot of good things about you. So welcome, and tell me about the MDW crew. I always mess that up. It's a mumble jumble, but it's flows.
MDW crew.
MDW. What does that stand for?
Maxwell Dempsey Womble's crew. He had a group of friends, the Brew Crew, if you want to talk about.
So we have like a Snapchat group. I believe it was started, probably 8 or 9 years ago. I kind of got into it a little later because I didn't go to the original St. Louis Cardinals game, but it started as like 10 of them, and now I think there's like 30 folks in it.
Oh, wow.
And it's called the Brew Crew is what it is. I don't think there's any Milwaukee Brewers fans in there, thank goodness. But it's called the Brew Crew. We use crew like Motley Crue. They've
I
always
noticed.
had the little
I like this.
semicolon over it. Just like Motley Crue does it. Always spelled it that way. Max was a big Motley Crue fan. A lot of the guys in there are. And so we decided to do this golf tournament, and once we had success with the first one, we started talking about wanting to do an organization, tax exempt, and all that. And so we filed as the MDW crew for the Maxwell Dempsey Womble's crew. Did it exactly like how the Brew Crew was, and just kind of mashed those two things together, and that's how we came up with the name.
I love the name. Okay, so the crew, you said Maxwell was a part of the crew. Can you tell me, who is Maxwell?
Well, Max, I'm going to do my best to not get emotional. Honestly, Max was one of the greatest guys I've ever met. One of the guys I just talked to recently, actually, I was helping a customer out at work, and I was like, yeah, every time it gets around to the tournament, I start to miss Max. I think about him a lot, and we were just talking. He actually donated the charcoal to us, to our cook Calvin Parrish of Calvin's Cooking, and he was like, man, I miss Max too. He's like, I'd roll into the Harrison pub, or I'd run into him out at the grocery store, or wherever he goes, and the guy would always have a conversation with you. Like, he was the guy, talk about whatever, but he actually sat there, he would look at you, you could tell that he actually cared. He would sit there and have a conversation. And the way I've always described Max and his personality is the kind of guy that would give the shirt off his back to someone he didn't even know. Like, he was the guy that would help a stranger. I was complaining about a branch in my yard one time. I woke up one morning, he told me it would be gone. It was gone. Oh. So he was just a great dude. And so, it's an honor to start the MDW crew with Sky, Jamie, and the rest of my board, and to donate all the money in his name, because I think he would do the same thing if the roles were reversed, honestly.
And you're honoring him, and you're donating this all to the Adams County Suicide Coalition, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
We donate all of our proceeds to the Adams County Suicide Prevention Coalition. Our first year, we donated a little over $20,000. Last year was $22,000.
So we're bringing it up.
We're just rooting for more. But it is really cool to see all the people that come out that not only support us, but how many people Max had that cared about him and show up and support us and put a stop to suicide right here in our community, and hopefully we'll make it bigger.
Yeah.
Someday. And
it's amazing to see everyone coming together. This is a purpose that everyone likes to get across. Obviously, when it hits home and it's a friend, that hurts the most. And I'm guessing because that happened, that's what, obviously brought you to this. Skylar, you've done an amazing job online.
Thank you.
for seriously that, I went to the website today. It's popping. You should check out. What is the website?
Our website is mdwcrew.com, and then our Facebook is Maxwell Womble's Memorial Crew.
Yeah. So you do a great job at designing that. Also, they can donate directly on that website, correct?
It actually links to our Venmo. We do not have it set up to take payments right now, but hopefully in the future. But we can take checks, cash, and Venmo right now.
All right. And then the crew is coming up with, it's the big fundraiser, like you said. When is that?
This Saturday, September 21st. The golf course check-in is at 7 o'clock for golfers.
So that's something that you've already had to be signed up for if you wanted to be in the golf tournament. So if you're not signed up for it and this is something that you want to do, you guys put on a great golf tournament at it's Arrowhead
Heights and Camp Point.
Beautiful golf course. So if that's something you're looking forward to doing, keep up with that website and maybe sign up for next year. But the public can get involved outside of the golf tournament at the party at Barney's, right?
Yes, they can also come to the golf course.
Okay.
We have over 50 baskets.
Oh, so that's where the raffle is going to be, not Barney's.
We'll have them at both.
Okay.
We tried to split it up. So
all right.
We will have stuff to do at the golf course for any spectators and non-golfers. And then at Barney's at 2 o'clock on Saturday, September 21st, we will have about 10 vendors coming out. We have Forever Wear permanent jewelry, IV infusions from Valley Beauty Repair, all kinds of cool stuff.
And I also know of I think the Lux Stogie cigar tent's going to be out there, right? Or
Lux Stogie actually is not partnering with us anymore.
But the greenhouse one is.
The greenhouse
hookah
lounge.
So you're going to have hookahs, permanent jewelry, and
hat bar.
Oh, that's
some
awesome.
Food trucks.
Cool.
Super exciting.
Like not your average vendors.
No, we want to make it a big deal so that we have a lot of people come out and support us and want to mark their calendars for next year when we get that going too.
Yeah. Not your average vendors for not your average friend, like you said. He was the guy that would give his shirt right off his back. And, suicide is something that, like I said, it's hard to talk about. It's hard, especially when it hits you so close to you, and especially when you didn't know or you have no idea. Like that seems to be the gist of these things. It's the nicest people, the people that you would
never think.
Yes.
Yeah. Our first step is to end the stigma against it and talk about it, and it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
And saying the word suicide, it brings so much awareness.
Even I just had like the hard time saying that, so thank you for saying that. Because you're right, there is like a stigma, and it's just it's hard to even say those words. I think it's more familiar, or like more people deal with that than we realize. You're not alone when you have those. I think it's human almost to sometimes think along those lines, and then when your mind is thinking like that, you're scared because you think there's no way out like after that. But there is. There is,
and there's resources. You can call or text 988 for 24/7 confidential support. They also have a chat bot that's on a website. They also offer video calls for those who use American Sign Language for any hearing impaired that need support. And then there's also a Spanish line now.
Oh.
So that is pretty cool. There's resources for all.
Do you list all those resources on your website?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So I'm really looking forward to this Saturday. I know I'll be there to see all the cool vendors. I'm not much of a golfer. Muddy River News is sponsoring a golf corral cart.
Yes.
Good for four? I don't know.
We have Muddy River News as a gold sponsor.
Awesome.
This year. Yep.
We thank you for letting us do that.
Yeah,
and
thank you guys for the support.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to add going on to this?
Honestly, I would like to just really hit on the fact that a lot of people, what they don't see behind the scenes, to bring all this together on top of how much the crew, my board, all of us work on this is the community. You're talking 144 individuals just playing golf alone. Well, there's the start of it. But what you don't see is the 150, 200 plus businesses that have donated money, baskets, items, everything. Advice, there's been good people who just give good advice. And the people that chip in, I really just can't thank everybody enough, especially Skylar, Jamie, the board. I couldn't do it without these guys.
Jamie is Skylar's mom, by the way.
Yes. Initially it was like myself and Todd, Max's dad, trying to plan this, and I don't think it would have been very good. And Jamie reached out and was like, "Oh, let me know if I'm overstepping." I'm like, "No, please, I need your help."
Yeah.
And so we started working together, and then in came Skylar, and this thing just blew up. And honestly, I don't think anybody would have predicted year one that we were going to do 20K.
Oh, no.
And then 22 the next. And honestly, this year, I can't throw a number out right now. I have one in my head. It's
I'm
pretty
crossing my
substantial
fingers.
amount of money, and I think people are really going to be blown away. And it's nice to be partnered with the Adams County Suicide Prevention Coalition as well, because one of our board members, Rachel, she actually works at Transition, so she's
Rachel
always
Brink?
Yes.
So she's
Shout out to
always
her.
Yes, heck yeah, shout out Rachel. She's always talking to Barb Chapin over there and Don Whitcomb, who we're constantly in contact with, and we're able to go to these meetings. We get to put in on how they spend the money.
Mm-hmm.
They take our suggestions seriously, and I think when it comes to solving problems, it's good to start at the local level. Let's solve Adams County and then expand out.
Yes.
I know that's Skylar's idea. I 100% agree with it. It's just nice to give back to our community, and just the community support just every year just blows me away. I just so thankful for all the folks in Quincy, Illinois, Adams County, and the surrounding area that help us put this on, baskets, things of that nature.
It takes so much to get an event of this multitude. You have to do a lot of thank yous. One last thing, I wanted to thank you both. Just being young and involved in things like this. This is what I'm always asking for. I believe like the young person in the community is one of the most important persons in the community.
I have pretty strong belief that our generation will make the difference that we have been longing for.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I
Thank you
think
so much.
it's very important, honestly, to be involved in your community.
Yeah.
I was born and raised here in Quincy, Illinois. This community's given me a lot, and so it's an honor to give back and to do it for one of my good friends, and along with his family and our board and the crew itself. Put in a lot of volunteer hours, and it's good to. When you cut that check, honestly, it's a good feeling to know that you've worked hard, you're giving back to the community, and seeing the results.
So while suicide is, somber, we are going to celebrate what we're doing here, and that's spreading awareness.
Yes,
So
and September is Suicide Awareness Month.
Yes. So get out there on September 21st. You have a chance to go to the golf tournament. You have a chance to go to Barney's. Make sure you check out the website. Once again, what is that?
MDWcrew.com.
And then that's where all your information is about the MDW crew. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks.
Thank you
having
so
us.
much.
All right. Coming up next, a little coffee talk with Britt B and Bobby.
Kelly's has been a fun place to eat and drink in Quincy since 1982. A fun and friendly atmosphere, food with flavor, homemade cinnamon rolls, and famous cheese soup, the best menu in town. Kelly's, 2902 Broadway, Quincy.
The Liquor Booth is your home for a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. The Liquor Booth has 2 locations in Quincy, 3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
Welcome to the Abbey, a Quincy tradition. With 6 big screens, a new larger kitchen, and now more seating capacity, the Abbey is the place to be before, during, and after the big game. Come enjoy fan-favorite appetizers, steaks, burgers, and a variety of daily food and drink specials. Can't join us? Carryout is available too. Now with a convenient drive-up window to better serve you. 1736 Spring in Quincy. Opens at 3 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Come join all your friends at the Abbey, a Quincy tradition.
Instant Replay is your local sports bar. With 18 big screen TVs, we have all the sports packages from college games to pro games. We offer daily drink specials, and come check out the Bullpen, our newly renovated beer garden. Instant Replay, 2739 Chestnut in Quincy.
The Tower, a great place to meet and eat. But did you know the Tower has one of the finest drink selections in our area? Along with its incredible Mexican menu, the Tower specializes in tequilas for every taste. Names like Patron, Cabo Wabo, and Hornitos. And don't forget the margaritas. On Mondays and Tuesdays, stop by and pick up a single topping pizza and get Tower margaritas to go. Enjoy the Tower at home or in our dining room, bar area, or the Tower's signature climate-controlled porch. The Tower Pizza and Mexican in Quincy.
Are you looking for the perfect venue for your next special event? Check out Utopia Event Center.
Utopia has a large banquet room and an awesome bar area, perfect for anything from birthday parties to formal corporate meetings. It also offers a photo booth, stage for a DJ or a live band, and a fully stocked bar, all for only $300. Check us out at utopiaeventcenter.com or call Barn at 217-430-6559 for more information. Utopia Event Center, 900 North 12th Street in Quincy.
Welcome back, and now it's time for a little
Coffee Talk
with Britt B and Bobby.
What up?
That's cringe coming from me.
Why?
I don't know. I'm like Bobby
G.
Bobby G
There
and
you go.
Britt B. It's
There you
still
go.
cringe. Oh gosh.
Okay.
It's just Brittany and Bobby
Okay.
talking about, once again, a little something serious.
Okay.
And it's brought to you, again, our Coffee Talk's brought to you by EFB, so I am all
Good stuff.
jacked
today.
up on
Yes, more than usual. God help us all.
third cup. Here we go. Okay, so over the weekend on the Facebook, it was brought to social media attention that at the Quincy Junior High, there might have been a transgender substitute teacher in the girls' locker room, was the accusation.
Yes.
Now, we did a little reporting ourselves and digging and come to find out that's not true at all. It's not true at all.
No.
So, what actually happened?
Well, what actually transpired was there's a substitute teacher who also has some duties that involve gym, and that teacher, she was in the locker room.
Has that been confirmed, though?
Well, she's a PE teacher. That's what's confirmed.
Okay.
So
I didn't know if they were actually still in.
I don't know that for
See,
sure.
yeah, we don't know that.
But again,
I mean,
there's a whole lot of we don't know here. So,
but
yes.
what we do know,
Yes.
is this substitute teacher is not transgender.
No.
And so maybe we need to also teach our children differences, and
Yes.
we ourselves as parents do not need to take these things straight to Facebook, because the public schools kind of have their hands full as it is. That's besides the point. But maybe figuring out the facts first before taking to Facebook would be, especially in like these situations, I think would be the best case. Now, say that were the case and it was true.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of the locker room perspective, because we don't know if that's the case,
Mm-hmm.
if there were a transgender teacher that taught PE, was not in the locker room, there's really nothing that the public schools can necessarily do about it.
Unless they don't get sued.
Yeah, because of the Human Rights Act, and just recently in 2020, what was the case?
Bostock versus
Clayton County?
County, yes. You cannot. Yes, you cannot sue someone. You cannot fire someone, an employee based on their sexual orientation, which has something that has been around for a long time regarding, gays and lesbians, but that also applies to transgender as now. And I'm sure eventually it will apply as we work our way through the rest of the, cis and pan and all the genders that are coming up today.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess, yes, always be involved in your children's lives and, ask them what's going on. And you have every right, I think, to know what's going on. But also know that when you're sending your kids to public schools, other people have rights too.
And we get lots of these kind of inquiries, and again, we try to follow up and vet them as good as we can. We had one last week about another incident at junior high, and we asked for some more information from the parent, and the parent didn't provide it. So again, it's not that we ignore these things, because we'll have a lot of people, and this kind of came up last week, when we had Steve Homan on. It was like when he just decided to go check out this landfill thing on his own. We get these kinds of calls, and if they're credible and they're heartfelt, we certainly try to vet them. But we can also know when there's something hinky going on. We also know if somebody's got an axe to grind. And again, a lot of the times that sort of is what eventually happens. But, again, in this case, I think, and absolutely, parents have every right to be concerned about their child's safety. And I think, the other aspect that comes into play, unfortunately, is with the situation with our school system in general, and the fact that our superintendent is an openly gay man.
I was going to ask, do you think that changed or struck the situation
No,
differently?
But I think it can. I think there is a sentiment in this community that looks at that sort of, and it's a bigoted. It's bigoted to think that someone's sexual orientation is going to have some sort of trickle-down policy and affect an entire school system. I just don't see that as the case at all. And again, it's not, he is our superintendent of schools. He's not the gay superintendent. And again, if we have an African-American or whomever, it's like, let's judge them on the merits of the job they're doing and not just try to make all these wild assumptions. But again, when you hear of a situation, and again, we talked to a couple of other folks within the school district about this sort of thing, and did it very quietly. But yes, I think you want to have your due diligence. You want to, if there is a concern, it needs to be brought up with the school. And if the school doesn't give you the satisfaction, then we'll listen. But more often than not, again, let's try to give our schools a little bit of a benefit of the doubt a lot of times, and we get this on both the public-private level. Obviously, we had our firestorm last week of everything going on in the parochial schools, and then when David had the follow-up story on if we continue on this path, we're going to continue to lose $1 million plus every year. So we want to vet these things. We want to have these conversations, and we think they're good for the community. But just make sure that you kind of have, if you don't have your ducks in a row, at least make a couple of inquiries. And again, we went in and made a couple of phone calls and a couple of other things. It was kind of like, okay, this appears to be the case that, this is not true. And
how embarrassing
someone's sexual orientation is.
But how embarrassing for both the parent, I guess, that took it straight to Facebook.
But we don't know we still don't know if the teacher, if they even are, aware of it or whatever. But we've had...
And how embarrassing for the teacher, because it's like, I think it was But
we also have, again, I think when you're trying to do these sorts of things, again, sometimes the passion of what's best for our kids, sometimes...
blindsides us.
Exactly. It makes us go, okay, I'm going to do this to protect my kid. And again, I've done that before. I've had cases where I've overreacted in certain situations dealing with my kids.
Same.
I did it on the Y baseball field once, and I threatened to.
Oh, let's not.
I did that once.
Let's not go there.
It was the only time I ever did that, but because that coach had threatened my kid, and I was like, dude, you don't do that. So
and so the administration, outside of this, has enough to handle because parents aren't monitoring their kids' phones and things like that.
Right.
And lots of stuff happens outside of school where it's, I don't know, that's bullying. Like, it's nonstop in this social media world. Poor Brenda has her hands full, hearing about kids' issues.
Well, every principal does.
Yeah.
And every principal does, and every teacher does, quite frankly. And there needs to be, again, these are professionals who we do trust with our children, and we're not saying ignore your concerns. We're just saying make that extra phone call or make that extra, and someone reached out to me.
And also know that there's really not much you can do in those situations because it is discrimination, provided there's not a locker room situation. And even with that, I don't I don't know how that works.
But again, this goes back to last year when we had the case of the alleged furries. And
I know. I was just thinking about that. There were litter boxes, and there was never a litter box. I don't think.
Just, and again, it goes back to the whole. We get caught up in a lot of this national stuff sometimes, and we want to listen to what is going on Fox News or MSNBC or whatever, and it's like it always does. Whether it's eating cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio. Or whatever.
And then the second it comes here, that's when people are like, oh my gosh, this is,
So again, let's, it's a big world out there. Take a step back.
Don't
take a
drink
deep breath.
so much coffee.
Take a deep breath. And again, we want you to love and care for your kids and obviously put their welfare first and foremost. But still, make those couple extra phone calls like we try to do. And sometimes our response isn't going to be immediate. Sometimes you might need to wait a day or so to try to get, hey, I've talked to a couple more people and this is the case. So that's I think that's kind of where we're at. But again, we're not telling you not to be vigilant over your kids. We're telling you.
I am like the most vigilant. I feel like I'm, like I said, on that phone, looking at everything. If I see something that I don't like, I'm immediately asking.
Yes, but I agree. Again, I think the schools are, we want them to take the proper course of action, but also with the schools. Again, I'm fully 100% in support of the cell phone policy to get the phones away from the kids until school, before school and after school. Just get them. I'm totally for that, and I think that'll help us a lot because I think the phone has caused a lot of problems these days. So
absolutely. Okay, so I said don't drink that much coffee, but
unless it's EFB coffee.
That's what I was just about to say. Unless it's EFB, they rolled out their fall menu. I grabbed one of those. It's delicious, and like I said, it's my third. So thank you, EFB.
Thanks EFB. Like she needed more caffeine.
And
Appreciate
thank
it.
you, Bobby G,
Sure.
for filling in for Miss Ashley.
Glad to.
And this has been a great. Ready?
Coffee Talk.